Well, hi there. I want to talk a little bit about something that is very important in the show. I don't sell it, you can't buy it, and you don't even read about it much. It's something that Ken Brooke taught me when I was his student. He was my mentor during the 60s, and he really prepared me to make a living doing my magic. And he used to be very, very good about teaching the tricks, but he always came back to one little thing. He'd say, "Nicky, don't forget the linkage. It's the linkage that makes it work." And that what he meant by that is the material that goes between the tricks. And one of the things that you'll find if you watch someone who isn't used to performing that often is that they tend to do one trick, it finishes, there's a gap, then they start another trick. And that little gap in the middle, well, the real pros, the guys who work an awful lot, and gosh, I've been one of those for years. They learn to make the whole thing smooth. There is no, unless you want the audience to really appreciate that you're going from there to there, you want it just to happen. And linkage is what you do to make it happen. Sometimes it's a joke. Sometimes it's a bit of business. Sometimes it's a prop. It might be a piece of gag magic, just something that's a funny visual item. But whatever it is, it's designed just to keep that show moving smoothly. And it is the mark between being a fully seasoned pro and being a very gifted hobbyist who doesn't have enough time to work on those details. So I would suggest that you spend as much time thinking about what goes on between those tricks. When you're rehearsing, it's very easy to rehearse a trick. It's, I've got it, I've got the patter, I finished it, it looks great, I videotaped it, oh, it looks good, let me try another one now. But then when you go out in front of the audience, you suddenly discover that your excitement level is built up to this, boom, then suddenly it goes down to there. And you have to start all over again. So what the goal is to keep that movement going upwards so that at all points in your show, the show is going in an arc that means that you start off strongly and you end up even stronger with no troughs in the middle. And that's what linkage is all about. Ken used to use a watch winder, was one of his favorite little things to do. Just in the middle, he'd wind his watch. But being Ken, it was very funny. He would be winding and you'd hear this big ratcheting of the watch, and he would look like he would, it was just a silly little thing. But it was something that got a laugh between what he was doing. Another thing he used to do, he used to run off stage to somebody in the back of the room just between tricks. This is a good little tip. He'd run off and shout at somebody, leave the stage, go, 15, 20 feet and shout down at somebody, "I'll do the card trick in a minute," as if they were, maybe hard of hearing. Rush back on stage, do his next trick. At the end of that one, he'd rush into the audience. "I'll be doing the card trick in a minute." And he would do that maybe 5 or 6 times, and each time it got a bigger laugh. That was a perfect definition of using a linkage to strengthen your show. You might take a trick, for instance, but that you were going to pretend to do and build it up. An item that I like for that is the classic, the eggs dropping into the glasses when you knock the tray away. It's an old classic bit, but between each trick you walk over, you get ready to do it, you psych up. No. And then you go on with another trick. And each time it gets funnier. And when you've done that 4 or 5 times, you've got your linkage throughout the show. But when at the end, shoom, the eggs drop in the glass, you've taken that linkage and you've turned it into a really powerful moment in the show. So just a few words about something that is important and you do not hear talked about enough: linkage.